I'm Huon Hooke, and this is The Real Review. The wine we're tasting today is Penfolds Bin 51 Riesling 2020 vintage, and it comes from the Eden Valley. So Penfolds is a company, a very old wine company which began in Adelaide and has branched out to be one of the biggest and most important wine companies in the country, and it's all based in South Australia. These days there's a bit of fruit coming in from Tasmania for some of their wines too, but it's very much a South Australian based company, best known for its red wines throughout its history. But in recent years the white wines have been very, very good indeed, and at least 20 years ago they started developing what was originally nicknamed the White Grange, which was the Yattarna Chardonnay as it turned out to be. And of course now they're very famous for their Chardonnays, several levels of Chardonnay. There's the Reserve Bin A and there's the Yattarna, and of course there are Rieslings, which they've always produced. And Eden Valley has been the stronghold for grape sourcing for Penfolds. Over the years, the company has absorbed other vineyards and other companies based in the Eden Valley, such as Talana and some of the Seppelt vineyards as well. And those sorts of great fruit assets they have helped to produce really excellent Riesling every year from the Eden Valley, and in pretty good licks too. It's quite a decent production of it, and it's well distributed, it's easy to buy, and it's not expensive. It's one of the least expensive Penfolds wines. So this wine is Eden Valley. It's made by Kim Schroeder, who is the chief white wine maker. They have quite a team of winemakers at Penfolds, but Kim is very much the white wine guy. And the first vintage of this wine was 1999, so it's been produced for 21 years. So how does the wine taste, this Riesling from the 2020 vintage Eden Valley Penfolds? First thing you notice is a very bright, light yellow colour, sort of straw tinge to it, and the aroma is classic Eden Valley to me. It's got what I call dried flowers, potpourri if you like, but imagine a vase full of flowers that have dried off, and the aroma is slightly different when they're dry than when they're fresh, but you can get the aromas of fresh flowers as well in some Eden Valley Rieslings. This is just got a lovely range of floral fragrances, and there's sort of yeastiness to it as well because it's still quite a young wine. And it's a wine that's made to keep, so it's a tight wine when it's young. There's a slightly herbal, almost a grassy hint to it as well. Very, very fresh and very vibrant. Marvellous delicacy, that wine. Really fine, really tight, really compact, linear. The line of the wine goes from the beginning, right at the front of your tongue, right through to the back in an unbroken line. Beautiful. Good acidity, but not shrill or strident acidity, nicely balanced. There's no sweetness in the wine that you can perceive, although it doesn't taste austere either. There's a clever balancing act there. The acidity balances the fruit without any need for residual sugar. So this is a lovely ripe 12% alcohol, Australian Riesling. Utterly lovely one, which will go on to age beautifully. It's got a screw cap on it. The tradition of these wines is they age beautifully for 12, 15 years, and they just become more and more toasty as they age and more complex. So how did we score this wine? We scored at 95, which is a gold ribbon score. Very high score, and it rated number 4 out of 18 Rieslings from the Eden Valley in 2020 that we've tasted, which is a top rank rating. Outstanding. And we've said drink it, you can drink it now. We can usually drink Riesling straight away, it doesn't need much time, but it will be better with 2 or 3 years in the cellar, and we'd say drink it for at least another 10 years. Food match, what would we serve with a wine like this? Anything from the sea, pretty much. Fish, seafood. The Penfolds team of winemakers have put their heads together and decided on freshly shucked oysters. Don't have a problem with that. I think that would be perfect. If you're in Adelaide, you'd probably have Coffin Bay oysters, the local ones. The naturally high acidity of Eden Valley Riesling goes really well with oysters, especially if you squeeze a bit of lemon juice onto the oyster before you pop it in your mouth. Wonderful. Cheers to that.